We call this letting love lead the way. And I am going to give you some different concepts to allow you to expand your mind and open your heart to all of this love and what's available to you. And toward the end of our time together, or maybe while I'm going through this, I will tell you about some practical things that you can do to allow this in, and I'm happy to take questions as well. So, first of all, every single person in the whole world and every person in this room, we are all human, yes, and each of us has a soul. Our soul is what gives our body life. And every soul has its own unique set of gifts, its own way that it loves to express and experience itself. And every soul is wired to give and to receive love in the way that it wants. And what is it's so fascinating to me about people, and it doesn't matter where in the world that you live, but how easy it is for us to be separated from our soul selves, to be separated from love. So during our time together, we're going to talk about different illusions that might be separating you from love. And we're going to talk about how you can dismantle these illusions so that you can heal your heart. And what I've come to notice is that it doesn't matter how amazing you are or how enlightened you are, how amazing I am, we are, how enlightened I am, we are, you are. There is always room for growth and healing and opportunity. And our heart is our biggest ally, advocate, and asset in finding that healing. So you know in your relationships, when somebody hurts your feelings or does something that's kind of weird, and as the enlightened and loving people that we are, we're like, okay, that was interesting, and we can take a step back and think, okay, so what does this mean about me here? Because we've heard, I know probably all of us is familiar with this concept, and if we're not, that's okay, because it's something that can make sense. Is that every single person and every interaction that we have with that person clues us into something about ourselves. And our heart is the bridge that can let us know what that is. And years ago, when I first started this whole life journey, spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it, I was so disconnected from love. I thought that I had to do what everybody wanted me to do. I come from a wonderful family with parents who are very active in the community, who did all of this volunteer work, charity work, all these awesome events, and they were always so busy, and there were a lot of different elements like that surrounded me. And I felt like I did not fit in. Of course, I wanted to help and love and assist people, but I didn't think that the way that I did it naturally was valuable. I grew up having a very different perspective of things. I grew up in a very Catholic family, and this is going to sound weird, but the Women's Economic Forum is a loving and open, non-judgmental place where it doesn't matter if you're female, male, wherever you're from in the world. So When I was a kid, and even now, but now I have a better handle on it, I have better boundaries, I would see dead people. And I would see spirits. And I did not want to tell anyone about this. I thought that it was wrong, I thought it was weird, so I decided to pretend like it wasn't happening. Let's not acknowledge the elephant in the room. I don't even think my parents would have done this, honestly, but in my mind I made up that I would be taken to the priest and it would just be a big problem. So I kept it to myself and I became very rebellious, which is my nature. I love renegades. That's the name of my company, only now the rebel attitude I have is channeled in a way that creates change and healing in a loving way. It isn't destructive to myself, because that's really... So in going into that, I did everything I could to fit into a box. Everything I could. I made good grades, I was pleasant, I was nice when I wasn't being rebellious and trying to upset my parents and get attention. I went to college, and I did my best to just get a job. Because that's what we're supposed to do, get a job. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it, and I became very, very depressed. And I thought, I just want to help people. So I applied for the Peace Corps. And guess what happened? I was rejected. I was rejected because I didn't know this, but I had a pretty big medical issue happening in my body that the Peace Corps told me about in the rejection letter. The doctors, it slipped everybody's mind. So here I was 26 years old, living at home, and in the US, that's not the most acceptable of situations. In other cultures, it's what you do, and it's awesome, but in the US, there's a certain stigma that can go with that, and I was definitely feeding into that stigma. And everything was just happening. It all reached this point, and really, I didn't even want to be a part of the world anymore. I thought, there is nothing here for me, which was so selfish and such an illusion. And I felt like I was just a waste of space and a waste of time. So this whole story I'm telling you this to illustrate to you how completely disconnected I was from love. And that choice came from me thinking and believing that I had to be somebody else to be loved and to have value. And who was that coming from? I'm not sure if it was my parents, if it was society, it was coming from me. Because I was disconnected from my soul. And some people do great in 9-to-5 corporate jobs. They're awesome at that and they're wonderful. It was not the best place for me. And it turned me into a very resentful and very depressed person. So, to let love lead the way, you get to be honest with yourself. You get to make a choice to connect with that soul self inside of you. Even in times when it feels like things are going really, really badly, when no one in your life seems to be behaving according to your plan, when there's illnesses and drama, those are the best times for you. And it doesn't matter where you are in your life. It's a great time for me, for you, for us to just take a step back and say, where am I in all of this really? And what am I doing to create this situation? And more than that, What is my heart leading me to? What is my soul whispering to me here? What is my healing opportunity? So right now on the tables we have a quiz that I created. It's an assessment, and it's called the Break the Laws of Love quiz. The Break the Laws of Love quiz is something that you can take, and what I love about giving this out in person instead of online is that I encourage you to write all over it, answer as many questions as you want, because all of us, and again, it doesn't matter how great you're doing or how not great you're doing, there is always a time to allow yourself to really let love lead the way. And this quiz enlightens you to different illusions that you may not even realize are affecting you. So in Love Renegades, I get to spend time with the most amazing people at various stages of their lives, different ages, cultures, upbringings. But what everybody has in common is this desire to let love lead the way and to have love and appreciation and all of this good stuff in their relationships. So when I get to talk with people or connect with people in a session, I love to shed light on illusions that are separating someone from love. Because if you can be aware of the problem, and if you're willing to do something differently, then you can truly heal and transform your circumstances. And it sounds easier said than done, but every choice has a consequence, and from what I've seen, that's a very simple definition of karma. Cause and effect, choice and consequence. So on the Break the Laws of Love quiz, if you choose to take it, I will look at each answer myself, and I will let you know which law of love you get to break and what you get to do about it so that you can have more fun in your relationships. Because there's always an opportunity for healing, and there's always an opportunity to let love lead the way. So thank you so much for being here, for giving me your loving energy and attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, and I have a beautiful colleague here with me today. Monsi is here, and I'm sure she would have some wonderful wisdom to share as well on this topic. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Love and blessings to all of you. Any questions, my loves? Comments? I just waved to you.
Hi, great.
Oh, thank you.
Shall we write the answers now?
Please. Yes, you're welcome to do that now, and you can give it back to me when you're done.
What do you do if every answer applies depending on the situation?
Well, you can circle as many as you want.
Yeah.
You can write on it.
Okay.
I will tune in and let you know which law of love you need to break.
Like sometimes
Sure.
know that, and sometimes know that. And
Yeah, because we're all, we're all so interesting and varied, and
right.
it's not one size fits all, so
Right.
it's your quiz.
So we should just circle if you write
yes circle any answer that you have. And Daniel, can you bring me a quiz? It's for anybody at home. Oh, draw pictures on them, Daniel says. However you most connect with your heart. So for people who are watching this at home, if you would like to take the quiz, you can visit my website at www.loverenegades.com, and it's up here as well. And you can go to the contact tab on my website and send me an email telling me you'd like to take the quiz, and I will be happy to help you do that. Hi ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
We've been talking about letting love lead the way. And we did some breath work as well. And we're gonna do a little bit more. And on your table, you may notice that you have a piece of paper that says the Break the Laws of Love quiz. This quiz can let you know about any illusions that you might be thinking that are true that are separating you from love. And in your results, you can find out what you can do about it. So since I'm up here and I don't just want to talk about the quiz the whole time, I'll let you know what one of the laws of love is, okay? This one was a huge law of love for me and a law of love is an illusion. And I want you to break the laws of love. Dismantle the illusions that separate you from love. I've played with all of the laws of love, but the main one that really got my attention was the law of sacrifice. And women seem to do this one a lot, and I'll speak for myself. I felt like I needed to put everyone ahead of me. And I'm just being completely honest, that if I put everyone else ahead of me, then I would be loved and appreciated for how awesome I was. And guess what happened? Nobody noticed. Guess what else happened? I became a very, very not fun person to be around. So sacrifice it doesn't work, and it comes up in a lot of sneaky ways. Like at home with our families or our loved ones, we think, okay, well, I'm just gonna, clean the house and make dinner and do all of these things. And meanwhile, family and husband, wife is thinking, wow, that's awesome. So I'm really busy, and the house is clean, and I have food, and they love it. It doesn't really occur to that person that they could jump in and do things as well. And it can lead into a big fight. Also at work, when you're constantly saying yes to deadlines. So whether it's a law of sacrifice or any of the other laws, and this sounds selfish, and breaking the laws of love can sound selfish and counterintuitive, but you get to put up a boundary and say no. It's okay to say no. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you have to do something. And also, if there's somebody that you are obligating yourself to spend time with, I want you to know this. Time is precious. It's you sharing your presence with somebody and exchanging energy with someone. And you get to choose who you would like to do that with. And usually we feel like we're being mean if we say no, or if we feel like it's time that maybe a relationship has run its course and it's time to release the relationship. But I can tell you this, even if it's painful in the moment, everybody in the end wins because it was a choice made with love. Any questions? The ladies in the back came in a little late. Did you finish? Thank you. Put this right here. Questions, comments, any questions about love or anything?
Can we choose like multiple answers?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Write all over it, multiple answers. It is your quiz. There is another law that we have, and this one is a big one for me as well, is the law of perfection. And the law of perfection means that, we want to do things the right way because we care. We care very much about our work and how we're being in the world. But when we're so clued into what we think is the right thing to do or what people want us to do, we can get very, very separated from ourselves. Does anyone else have anything to say?
First of all, thank you so much for giving us advice and quiz to do. So when people do not understand us or do not understand our spiritual world, we close in ourselves. Because people around are too shallow. And just a question to you, shall I waste time trying to make them perfect when I see that they are not able to change? Do not think enough, do not work with themselves. So let's say in Europe, people are very egoistic, practical, pragmatic. So this is as if a characteristic feature of European society. And here I'm glad to acknowledge that you speak, or people here speak about love, understanding, sharing feelings, which is not you done in Europe. So my question again, all my life I worked with people, I tried to push progressive ideas, but they rejected me. They just rejected me.
Thank you so much. Rejection is one of the hardest things that we have to go through. And sometimes we think, oh, it doesn't matter, at least I'm not starving, at least, I have a roof over my head and I have friends and family. However, I don't care who you are, what you have or what you don't have, rejection is one of the most hurtful things that a person can go through. And I would invite you to realize that your heart is just doing her best to connect with you. And if you ever get into that space where you tell yourself to just be grateful for what you have and you shouldn't feel the way that you feel, you get to tell that voice to quiet down and you get to connect with your heart and feel that pain because it hurts. It hurts to be rejected, especially when you care so deeply. And what I would encourage you to do, and this was a big one for me, and it is for so many of my clients and people that I get to talk to, is that it does not matter how the other person responds to your ideas or to the support that you give them. The way that they respond has absolutely no bearing on your self-worth. And when you choose share, what I would recommend that you do, and this is something that I do, is I look for my motivation for sharing. And what I've come, because it really upsets me when I see people making such fear-based choices and being cruel, and this is not going to sound very love and light and nice, but just being stupid. Like it really, really upsets me and it hurts my heart. And when I go to help somebody, I get to, before I do that, on a good day, I will take a step back and see, you know, maybe there's nothing wrong here. Like maybe this is just the opposite of me, and in observing what's happening here, I am getting more clued into how I handle things.